Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whenever you happen to be watching this. Alright, so I told you last week we were going to have a special guest, and just for the record, this is now the second time we're doing this video, so this will be fun. So I would like to introduce you to my special guest. This is my friend Yaeb'Et. He's not only my friend, this is my favorite person in the world.
Oh, come on.
Alright, it's true. Alright, so we discussed it, and we decided that one of the most important things that we can talk about is the Law of One and Ascension. So that's what we're going to discuss today. So for those out there that aren't really sure what the Law of One and Ascension is all about, can you explain to them?
Absolutely, absolutely. The Law of One is just that. It's that everything is one. We come from one creator, and everything is a piece of that one creator, and just an expression of one creator. So it's basically we are all just a thought.
I like that. So when it comes to that, we are all of one creator. Neale Donald Walsch wrote a book called Conversations with God. And in that, he explains that the Creator created us so that he could experience himself exponentially. That'll help to explain it a little bit if you want to go read that book. So explain then kind of your understanding of how things are when it comes to the Law of One.
In which regard? You're talking Ascension, the Law of One?
Yeah.
So we'll start with densities and dimensions.
Okay.
So there's 7 densities.
Okay.
And within each density, there's an infinite number of dimensions. We'll get to that in a minute.
Okay.
We'll start with the first density.
Okay.
First density is your base elements. It's your earth, air, fire, and water.
Okay.
And the purpose of the first density is to learn consciousness. So
you don't have consciousness in the first density.
No.
You experience the first density to move towards consciousness.
Exactly.
Okay.
So second density is the gaining of consciousness. So it's your animal life, your plant life, and plants have consciousness, and your mineral life.
That's actually true. There's scientific research. They actually hooked up high sensitive microphones to plants, and they cut the leaf, and you can hear the plant yell. Just so you know.
And
so for all you vegetarians that are out there, just know, you're hurting the plant too.
And that's why you should always bless your food or thank your food,
Yes.
no matter what you're eating. They also did a test with a lie detector and hooked it up to a plant and threatened to burn it, and it had the same reaction as a human would
Oh wow.
when it was in distress.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. There's some really cool stuff coming out of Russia that we're not being told.
Yeah, we'll hear about it.
It's out there, you just have to look.
We just heard about it.
Exactly. So second density is your plant and animal life. And the purpose of that is to learn individuality. Okay. Once you learn individuality, you graduate to the third density, and you get to experience the individual. And that leads into that book you were talking about.
Right.
Right. He's going to put it in the description below.
Yeah. Yes, I will do that. Neale Donald Walsch. I'll show you.
So that through the third density, we learn. We have our individuality. We experience individual ways and infinite ways of experiencing life for creation.
So we're in third dimensional
We're in
reality
third
right
density
now.
right
Third
now.
density.
Yes.
Right now. Yes.
Yes, we're in third density, and actually Earth is vibrating at a fourth density level now. It started vibrating fourth density somewhere between the 60s and the 80s.
Okay. And so when you say the Earth, you mean literally the physical
planet itself. And I don't know if how much you know about Schumann resonance. It's the vibration, the resonance, vibrational resonance of the Earth.
Okay.
It's 7 hertz.
So yeah, I've heard of it in meditation.
Yes.
Different forms of meditation. I think they actually discuss that in the Raw.
They do discuss
Right.
it a little bit in the Law of One books. Yeah.
Right.
There's been stuff come out recently about how Earth's resonance has shifted from 7 to, I'm not sure what the new resonance is, but that would be part of the ascension for Earth.
Okay.
And that's part of what the changes that Earth's going through too. We're being fed a climate change agenda, and that's what it is. It's an agenda. It's an agenda to keep us in fear and keep us under control. So yeah, Earth started to vibrate fourth density. we have started to vibrate fourth density as humans. We're seeing more and more humans that are fourth density vibration, and that's the fourth density is the vibration of love.
Okay. So when you say more humans, you mean older ones or new ones coming in?
Both.
Okay.
There's a lot. It's been called an awakening. It's been called a movement. We see more and more growth in the spiritual.
So would the indigo kids be part of that?
The indigos would be part of that. I mean, indigos could also be categorized probably as wanderers.
Okay.
Multidimensional beings from a higher density that have come back to assist with the ascension and assist humanity in remembering love.
Okay.
So
Love
that
being the fourth dimension.
fourth density.
Fourth density.
I know, right? I know. I mean,
Okay.
as much as I teach it, and I still get the words
Right.
confused, right? Because we have used them
Yeah.
interchangeably, which we shouldn't have. So we're starting to vibrate fourth density. Fourth density is the density of love. That's where we learn to love unconditionally.
Okay.
This transition, right now, it's looking like it's going to take a couple hundred years.
Okay.
We can speed it up.
Okay.
All we have to do is release all our fears and realize that there really is nothing to fear, and just start loving. It's going to take a lot of changes.
And I try to teach people too that really there is nothing to fear, because what I've learned is that the definition of fear is the expectation of pain.
Yeah.
Expectation means it's in the future, it isn't happening now. And most times those things that we're expecting to hurt us don't actually manifest, so we're fearing for nothing. So if you can let go of the fear, so you don't worry about expectation of pain and just deal with stuff when it comes up, then you let go of all the fear. That's the easiest way to let go of the fear.
It is the easiest way. It's the only way to let go of the fear. I'm glad you used the word manifest, because with fear you can manifest that outcome that you've been dwelling on too. And we as humans, one of our gifts is our imagination. We have the best imagination, and we have the ability now to imagine the absolute worst outcome in any situation and dwell on that.
Yeah.
And it never happens that way. It's never as bad as we imagine it to be. We walk out of it and say, oh, that wasn't so bad.
Yeah.
And then next time something comes up, we do the same thing again.
Go back to what the worst could be.
Yeah.
I actually wrote a series of books. I'm in the middle of writing a series of books that's called Cruel Imagination, and it's exactly that. The things that you put into your head, you can end up manifesting in your life if you focus too much on them.
Yep. And that goes the reverse too.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
if you start
focus on the
thinking positive, you can manifest a positive. So
Absolutely.
if we start thinking love, we can manifest a love society.
Which goes back to the law of attraction video that I did last week. Be positive, focus on what you want to focus on, think the right thoughts, and do it all from a place of love, and you get what you want.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It works. I mean, thought is energy, and I mean everything
Everything
around
is
us is
energy.
energy. Everything
Yeah.
is energy, even our thoughts.
Yeah.
And we have the ability to create from our thoughts, from nothingness.
And so when he says from nothingness, you have to understand that really everything is energy, so there is no
Nothingness. Yes.
So absolutely everything is energy, just vibrating at different levels, which gives it different densities, really. Like physical densities. I'm not talking about the same kind of densities, right? But so you look at a piece of wood versus air, it's all energy. It just has different densities.
Just vibrating
It's
different.
vibrating at a different level.
Yeah, and that's it.
And that's the same thing with thought. A thought is an energy, and therefore that's how things can manifest.
Absolutely.
So that's first, second, third, and fourth densities.
So
So we took care of love,
Yep,
right?
yep. So the fifth density, once we learn love and we ascend to fifth density, that's the density of knowledge.
Okay.
So that's when we learn to use our love.
Okay.
So,
So that's not the same as like education.
well, it is. It's educating yourself on how to love.
Okay.
So when we, as healers and light workers, I guess, when we first start on our journey, we want to heal everybody, right? We want to heal the world. We
Yeah,
want to
absolutely.
heal absolutely every person. Oh, they're hurting. I need to help them. I need
Yep.
to help them. With this knowledge, we gain the wisdom that there's no need to heal anybody,
And why is there no need to heal anybody?
because everybody's right where they need to be.
Okay.
Everybody is on their own path.
So how does that work with, the let's say the person that has decided to go out and rob banks for a living.
Mm-hmm.
So because a lot of people won't understand, they think, well, no, that person does need to be healed. They're doing something wrong to other people. They're hurting other people. They need to be healed. They need to be stopped. But you're saying they're right where they need to be.
They may need healing, but not right now.
Okay.
Right? And nobody can heal them except them. Until they're ready to be healed,
Okay.
they can't be healed.
Right. So I've started my own modality of healing called deep healing. You have your own.
My own is called heart. Yeah.
And really, we don't do the healing. We facilitate the healing so that our clients do the healing themselves. Really, I mean, we play a part in it, but mostly we put the onus on them to heal.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what you're talking about.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. If we go even the Law of One books,
right,
which were channeled by Ra, they talk about energy healing too. And then the way they explain it is all you're doing is just transferring light energy from channeled through source,
right,
channeled through you, just channeling it through you into them and giving them extra energy to heal themselves.
because if you channel it through source, you don't get depleted yourself.
Right, and that's, I mean, we've talked about this before. We've talked about how people get drained and very depleted when they're doing their healing. And I mean, I used to when I first started. I've never really had any formal training on healing. It's just kind of, I've had channeled information come to me on how to do it, and I just started doing it. But what I would do is I would internalize everybody's issues and bring them home with me and just carry that weight on me. And I thought it was part of my responsibility to take that and then transmute that energy myself.
Right.
Instead of grounding it or sending it up to source.
Right.
Which is what I do now. I mean, it took me 6 months walking around with a grounding portal underneath me to get rid of everything that I was carrying.
Right. Not fun.
No, not fun at all.
So that now brings us to sixth density.
And the sixth density is the density of wisdom. It's putting the love and the knowledge you've gained together.
Okay.
So there's also no form in sixth density either.
Okay.
We become a social memory complex, which is a term they use in the Law of One. And it's a group of I guess you'd use the word souls if you want, or memories, whichever, it's the same thing.
Collective consciousness?
Collective consciousness.
Okay.
But it's more than a collective consciousness, because we become just one orb.
Okay.
With memory of multiple lives.
Okay.
Seventh density is the return to source. And
so not physical death. Return.
There is no death. There's no such thing as death. We are immortal beings.
On an energetic level. So a lot of people out there will be thinking, well, no, there is death because I just lost my spouse or my parent or my. So there is.
But you have to actually think about it. This is just an earth suit.
Right.
This is a third density suit. So if this body dies, it'd be no different than having a pair of pants that have torn so bad you have to throw them out. It's the same thing. It's just a piece of clothing that we're wearing over top of our true selves.
Perfect. I like the way you put that.
It's an earth suit.
And that's true. You think about that deeply. Pause the video if you need to. Deeply think about that. Okay, so that takes care of all the densities, but then you said there's dimensions.
Yes. So
how does dimensions work?
Each density has multiple dimensions, and the third density has the most, because the third density is the density of individuality, so it has the more opportunity for more dimensions.
So now when you say individuality, so we have to, based on how you were talking about the densities, we have to forget that we are part of the collective so that we can then remember that we're part of the collective.
Right. So, because, and in the beginning, before Earth even had life on it, there was life on other planets.
Right.
Right? And they've gone through...
That's true, it's not a conspiracy.
No, and they've gone through different ways of ascension. And they tried ascension without the individuality, and they've tried ascension without negative.
Right.
The problem with that is it takes forever, because without that individuality and without that negative, there's no room for growth.
Right.
We all need our hero's journey. And it's something
So
that we
it's
all go
okay
through.
to have the negative in for growth, but don't focus on the negative. Don't get
No.
caught up in it. So I don't watch the news because the news is full of negativity. I don't get into this perpetual role of, you know, when people are posting all this negative stuff on Facebook or
Mhm.
whatever, I don't get caught up in that. I scroll past it. I don't want anything to do with it. But dealing with negativity in our own lives, that's a different thing.
Yep.
Okay.
And I mean, there is no negativity in your life. And I know you're thinking, but I'm down in the dumps. I've got no money. I'm losing my apartment. I just lost my job. Everything happens for a reason. And that's why we are each individuals right now. It's to experience for Creator absolutely every experience we can, and to find our way back to true unconditional love of ourselves. That's the biggest one.
Yeah.
Everything we go through, we tend to beat ourselves up. We're our worst judges.
All the time.
We need to stop doing that. And again, that's just based on fears. It's programmed fears.
That makes sense.
You go back to, you don't watch the news. I mean, I gave up cable and internet years ago because
So I gave up cable. I'm not giving up internet.
that's fine. You got to do this thing.
I do gotta do this thing.
But no, I gave it up because all it is doing is programming fear into us.
Right.
Right? It may sound heartless when you hear me say this, but what does it really matter to you or I if there's a war somewhere in the Middle East?
And see, I understand that, which is why I stopped watching the news. But there's some people out there that say, no, you have to know what's going on in the world so that you can help heal it, so that you can help send positivity to it. You have to see the negative so that you know how to combat it.
Yeah, as long as you are able to look at it without any kind of fear, though. And for you to be able to do that, you have to be 100% healed yourself. So before you go out and look at the world, you need to go in and look at the microcosm.
Very nice.
And heal within. Once you heal within, then healing around you will just happen automatically.
And so, on that note, I'm going to tell you, there's a doctrine called Ho'oponopono, and it literally is healing everything without doing anything except taking care of yourself. I won't get into it. You can Google it if you want, but you can actually take a course. I don't know if it's still available, but there's courses on Ho'oponopono. And there was a doctor in Hawaii that healed an entire hospital of the criminally insane, and he never left his office. He never met with one of those people, and he did it all sitting at his desk. So that's exactly what you're talking about.
It is. It's exactly what I'm talking about. Just imagine if each one of us took the responsibility for ourselves to heal ourselves, how beautiful would the world be?
Yeah.
Right? There'd be no need to heal anybody
And that's the
because
thing. If everybody's healing themselves,
everything's healed. But yeah, there's going to be, I mean, back to what I was saying before, the transition between third and fourth, which is what we're really working on right now.
Right.
It is going to take a while. There's going to have to be changes. There's no room for any kind of violence or hatred or anger at all in the fourth density.
Because that's the density of love.
Unless you don't want to stay on Earth.
Okay.
There is another way to ascend, and it's the service to self path,
Okay.
or the Sith path, if you will, because I know you're a Jedi fan.
Okay.
So it skips the fourth. It skips the heart chakra
Okay.
and goes right to the throat,
Okay.
and then the third eye.
Okay.
And that's where a lot of practitioners and stuff get lost. Is there's not enough focus on the heart chakra. It's all focused on the third eye or the crown, right? I want
Right.
to be able to see. I want to be able to hear. I want to be able to heal.
Right.
But as soon as you stop worrying about that and just start loving, you'll be amazed at the amount of gifts that are turned on for you. They just happen once you stop trying.
That actually takes care of a lot of my questions when it comes to me. All right. So now speaking of the dimensions again.
Okay, sorry, yes,
No,
but-
yeah.
yeah.
So no, all that was great. We needed to talk about. Okay. So speaking of the dimensions,
Mhm.
so there was a movie called The One, or it might have just been One. And I
Okay.
think it was The One.
I think
it was with
yeah.
Jet Li.
Mhm.
Okay, and so Jet Li, there was multiple dimensions where Jet Li had different lives in each one of them. He was a cop, he was a criminal, he was, you know, an old guy, whatever. And so he went back in all of these he found a way to travel through other dimensions, and he killed off all the different versions of himself, so that he became stronger.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not suggesting that we can do that,
No.
but that concept of the different dimensions of us living in different lives, that's what you're talking about. We're talking about dimensions.
Absolutely. So every time we make a choice, it is a different dimension,
Okay.
and we can explore those choices. I'm what I call a slider. That's what I call myself. I slide from dimension to dimension.
Okay.
Sometimes consciously, sometimes it just happens.
So you have no control over it sometimes.
Sometimes I don't. There was one time where I was driving, and it happened to me. And what happened was I flipped dimensions, and the new dimension I flipped to, there was a cyclist in front of me.
Okay.
Right in front of me. I had to slam on my brakes. I almost hit the guy, and
Wow.
that was a forced slide with the help of my reptilian friend that I have.
Okay.
He's trying to do everything in his power to stop me from relaying the messages that I have to relay to people.
Okay.
But there's conscious ways to explore these dimensions. So if you have a choice that you've made and is really nagging on you, did I make the right choice? Did I really do the right thing? You can go back to that point in time in your head through meditation and explore that other choice. And you can live that entire life path out.
And see where
it leads.
Would have led to, or actually is leading to, in a different dimension.
Exactly.
Okay.
In my experience, the ones that I've explored myself have ended abruptly.
Okay.
So
you're on the right path.
I'm on the right path. I call this path that I'm on now, I call it my prime path.
Okay.
It's my highest path. It's the one where I am the best version of myself.
Wow.
At the moment.
Okay.
There's always room for improvement.
Always.
Right. But at the moment, I'm the best version of me.
Okay. So now when you're talking about sliding through dimensions, and you say you sometimes it would happen without you having anything to do with it. Other times you can control it through meditation.
Yeah.
So okay, so there's a guy, Aaron Doughty. He has a YouTube channel. I'm gonna put the link down in the description. He actually has a few videos on being able to slide through dimensions to manifest different things in your life. Because he says that's one of the ways that we can actually manifest things. If we want to go from where we are to living a rich life, then
we can slide into that life.
Into that life.
We can.
Okay.
You just have to be careful that that's really the life you want to slide into.
Okay.
As well.
See, now this sounds like quantum leap.
Kind of. So I've said it before. Our fiction is more fact than our non-fiction.
Right.
Right. Quantum leap is, and I mean there was also I think there was a TV show called Sliders too.
There was.
Which is kind of the same thing, was it not?
Yes.
They slid through different dimensions.
Different dimensions. Yeah.
And that's where I used that term slider for myself from that, right?
Because of that. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. No, there is more. Like I say, watch your movies. Because you're going to get.
Science fiction movies are more likely science fact.
Yes, most of them.
What we're saying.
With a little bit of fiction thrown in, just to make it unbelievable.
Just to throw you off.
Yeah.
Just enough.
Yeah.
Right.
Just enough.
Right.
And I mean everything's like that.
Right.
Because nobody believes in a right lie.
That's true.
You pepper it with truth, and people will believe it as a truth.
That makes sense.
Or you can't give them the right truth either. You pepper it with unbelievable facts, and it makes the whole thing unbelievable.
Right. Okay, that makes sense.
Kind of like if somebody comes out and discloses something, right? And they'll find something that he said wrong, one thing.
And that taints the whole thing.
The whole thing is tainted.
Right. That makes sense. Well, it's like, so I don't know if this made the first take or not. I can't remember where we were, but so we were talking about like the government discloses things, but they do it in a way that it comes out as lies, so it gets covered up.
Yeah.
So like the Roswell incident, right? All these people came out and said, yes, this happened. I was at the crash site. I have these artifacts. This happened. And then the next day it was, no, it's a weather balloon. That didn't actually happen. All those people are crazy to listen to it.
Yeah.
And
well, check out the book The Day After Roswell by Colonel Corso, I believe it is.
Okay.
It talks about how everything we're enjoying right now in this society at this time, technologically that we're enjoying, has come from crashes. It was from the Roswell crash. Velcro, LEDs, microwave, night vision, the microchip itself.
Wow.
It all came from alien technology.
Wow.
That's why we've had such a huge leap since Roswell.
Since Roswell, since the 50s.
Yeah.
It was an accident.
Yeah.
Okay. That's amazing. Definitely check that out. If you can't remember what he said, just rewind it. So is there anything that you feel we need to let these people know?
The one thing that I really stress to everybody at all my teachings, at all my events, at all my seminars is release your fear. There is nothing that you need to fear. Most of your fears have been programmed into you.
Right.
You're being programmed fear through your television. You're being programmed fear through your consumerism, your news, everything you're being surrounded by in the third density is there to program to control you with fear.
Right.
The religions are the same thing.
So I try to teach people to let go of their fear by telling them that the definition of fear is the expectation of pain. Expectation means it's in the future, it hasn't happened yet.
Yep.
So you're not actually in pain, you're expecting pain, and that's why you're afraid. And if you can let go of that expectation of pain and just live your life, and if something does come up, then deal with it, but just don't live in fear of what's going to come up. That's the best way to let go of fear.
Things come up in life, and it's not what life gives you, it's how you deal with what life gives you that really matters. As humans, we have the gift of imagination.
Right.
Some of the best imaginations in the universe are humans.
Right.
And we have the ability to imagine the absolute worst outcome to any possible situation, and we tend to dwell on that, the worst outcomes. And when the situation happens, we're always like, oh, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Right?
Right.
But then another situation comes up and we start doing the exact same thing again. Instead of looking at the other situation and saying, it didn't turn out as bad as I thought it was, so this one probably won't turn out that bad either.
Right.
And just deal with it head on and don't run from it. And before you know it, there will be no more issues coming at you anyways.
That makes sense.
Because our issues are lessons. Right? Once we learn that lesson, we don't need to learn it again. So it just stops coming.
That makes sense.
This
This is also why when people say, why does this keep happening to me? It's because you didn't learn your lesson.
Sometimes the lessons are hard to learn.
Yep.
Sometimes they're a little hidden. And sometimes we just don't want to see them.
True.
But no, I mean seriously, since I've stopped fearing, I haven't had anything to fear come at me.
That's awesome.
If that makes any kind of
It
sense.
does. It makes sense to me. Hopefully you guys understand what you just said.
So yeah, and just love yourself, forgive yourself, and forgive everybody around you that has ever hurt you. Forgive your abusers, love them, and know that the life you've chosen, the life you're living, you have chosen this life. You knew everything that you were going to experience, and you chose it because you wanted to experience that for Creator. Love everybody. That's it. Love, and not just everybody. Love everything. Everything. Treat
Literally
all the
everything.
plants in the world as if they were your mother. Treat the animals as if they were your mother. We've gotten a little lost and confused in our society. We need to get back to that. That's what fourth density Earth is going to look like. It's going to look like love. There is no more negative on Earth.
I like it. So, hopefully all of that makes sense to you guys. Hopefully that struck a chord. Hopefully that lands you a little bit so that you can move down this path in a brighter manner. I guess
Yeah.
is a nice way to say it.
Yeah.
So I'm so glad you guys joined me for this one. So I want to thank Yaeb'Et for being here.
Oh, thank you
That
for
was
having me.
awesome. Yes, anytime. And we're definitely going to try to get him back again because that was awesome.
I'll come back.
I want you to drop some comments down below. If you have any questions for me or for Yaeb'Et, we'll get him back so that he can answer some questions if you want to leave them down below.
Oh yeah, I'd like to do that.
yeah.
A question day, yeah.
Yeah, anything that you didn't understand or any questions that you may have that we didn't even touch on, drop them down below and we're going to do our best to get him back, and we'll get some as many of those questions answered as we can for sure. Also, that subscribe button that's right over there, hit that so that you can check out all the rest of my videos that pop up. Also the notification bell that's right beside it, click on that too so that you'll get notified every time I upload a video. And until next time, love, light, and abundance to all of you.
Peace.